One of the attributes of Edward Green, we say, apart from the good looks and the extraordinary comfort, one of the attributes is the longevity. They do last for years and years.
So has the company. Named after its founder, Edward Green, they've been making the finest shoes since 1890. Today they're in a modern factory, but traditional craftsmanship remains. From outside you can see the clicking room where everything begins. Made from the very finest, the calf hide used makes a maximum 3 pairs of shoes.
I'm Annika. I've worked for Edward Green for 10 years and I'm just about to show you some of the processes that go into the first part of manufacturing. This job is called clicking because there is an actual sound when the knife comes out of the board.
And just through the window is where the shoes begin to take shape.
I'm Jill Norman. I've been in the shoe trade all my life. My job description is skiving, which basically means I take off pieces of leather, which allows the shoe to be put together nice and flat, and this is how I do it.
My name's Yvonne O'Grady and I've been in the company since 1991 and my job is a royal perforator.
Those perforations have the mark of Yvonne. There's none of your average sewing here, no needles, they're not fine enough. Here they use pig bristle.
I'm Gary Finding, I've been here 20 years and I'm a hand closer. In the grading of shoe making, this is A1, which is top. It takes quite a while to learn the job. The actual bristle is probably the hardest job you have to learn because if you can't keep a bristle on, you can't work.
You won't find anything mass-produced. Time, effort and handcraft is at a premium. There are hundreds of lasts, different sizes and widths, so each leather upper fits like a glove. Each piece of leather ready to be moulded to the individual shape of the foot.
I'm Edward Parker. I've been here nearly 5 years and I'm a pullover bloke.
Which means he's the first to put leather on the last. Then it's gelled into place on a machine. This one of only 2 in the world, the others in a museum.
What I do here on this machine, it closes it all in, creates the footbed nice and tight so that you can get the welt on, which attaches the sole on. Makes it all nice and central and generally gives the shoe its shape.
It will remain there for weeks so it can really take shape. And then there's a bit more work besides.
The first operation then is to stitch a welt, which is a thin strip of leather, onto the bottom. This is where the welted construction comes from, that's where the term comes from. When the welt's put on, there's a layer of cork, and the weight from your body and the heat of your foot moulds, contours the bottom of the shoe. Then the sole is stitched to that welt, which gives a very comfortable shoe because of the construction, and also a shoe that's easy to repair because you can cut the stitching off the sole, you can cut the welt off and replace it all, so we can repair or refurbish the shoes.
At the end of the making operation, when the sole and heel are attached, it's a question of finishing the shoes. There's an old footwear adage that says, make them wet and finish them dry.
My name's Cliff Roberts. I'm a finisher. I've been with Edward Green 10 years. First, we're doing breasting. That's getting it nice and straight. Next, we do rough scouring. It's preparing the heel ready for the smooth, to give it a nice shine. Then we do the water That stops it burning on the smooth. Then we come along to the smooth. The idea of the smooth is to get it as fine as you can to give you a nice smooth finish. So when it inks, it goes on nice and smooth, ready for the final finish. We do 3 colours. We do light brown, a natural and a black. That's that, and then we let that dry. After it's been inked and the ink has dried, we pad it. The idea of padding is to be able to get a nice shine ready for finishing. When the ink's dry, the irons are very hot. The idea of being hot is to mould the wax into the leather. The idea of this is to make the finished product look as nice as possible. The next job after this is top ironing. That just takes the edge off the corners and the heels. That's what I'm going to do now.
And in the shoe room, the leather is antique and hand polished to give it a lustre. And because there's a lot of handwork involved, we get a lustre that, again, is quite unique to Edward Green.
And many years later, when those shoes are worn down, they can be returned for refurbishment.
Lots and lots of men are so fond of their shoes that they really want you to go to the most extraordinary lengths to preserve that shoe rather than to have a new pair. Finally, it comes down to a question of economics, but we do try awfully hard to preserve that shoe, and we get them back after 20 years or so.
With a staff of 50, many who've worked for the company for decades, there's expertise in these workrooms that's second to none. The name Edward Green has received the seal of approval from customers worldwide. This kind of craft can't be rushed, but the best things in life are worth waiting for.
Men will often wait a long, long time for a car, so I think they'll wait for a pair of shoes. At least they seem to.